Before this African American literature course, I only knew about the writers, the common writers that everyone knows, like Sojourner Truth, Phyllis Wheatley, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Langston Hughes. I didn't know that blacks were so intellectual and eloquent in any time period with their writing, which clearly was a reflection of their thinking. I didn't know that black literature was such a big genre that was composed of so many different people, styles, and perspectives. My belief was that the bulk of African American literature started during the Harlem Renaissance, which, because of what I had been taught, was the Enlightenment age for Black people. I also had the belief that there were only a select few Blacks that had the intellect, wisdom, and courage, and that the masses were content with the condition of being oppressed. So those that had the intellect, wisdom, and courage had to carry the weight of the rest. And even though I didn't realize it, that is very similar to W.E.B. Du Bois's term, the talented tenth, which emphasizes the necessity for higher education to develop the leadership capacity among the most able 10% of Black Americans and would thus inspire the masses. Now I understand that African American literature is a way to be powerful and show intelligence through writing and speaking. I knew that in the past there had been acts of protest, but the idea that blacks did not speak up to protest their oppression is not a way of thinking anymore. Because I realized that when a person can express themselves through writing and have done their research, no argument can be made against what they are saying when they are bringing facts. For example, Henry Highland Garnet, in Address to the Slaves of the United States in Volume 1, on page 293, says, "Neither God nor angels or just men command you to suffer for a single moment." He was strongly opposed to slavery, spoke about it in an attempt to get other blacks to wake up. Frederick Douglass, in What to the Slave is the 4th of July, on page 406 in Volume 1, calls out whites by contrasting them to their forefathers and calling them out for oppressing black people by saying they were peace men, but they preferred revolution to peaceful submission to bondage. They were quiet men, but they did not shrink from agitating against oppression. They showed forbearance, but that they knew its limits. They believed in order, but not in the order of tyranny. With them, nothing was settled that was not right. With them, justice, liberty, and humanity were final, not slavery and oppression. Their solid manhood stands out the more as we contrast it with these degenerate times. Richard Wright, in Blueprint for Negro Writing in Volume 2, expresses to Black people the importance of remaining true to who they are and not changing to appease or to fit in with white America and their standards of writing. All of these writers and speakers, even though they are no longer here, have allowed me to experience the fullness of what African American literature is, what it brings to the culture of African Americans, and why it is so important. It also helps me to understand the importance of going back to the past, realizing that it's not a bad thing to go back to the past, and understanding that going back allows you to move forward.